What's up, Giants? I'm Mike Anajas.
And I'm Jack Sinatra.
And this is Season 10, Episode 25 of Redwood TV.
The mural that you all know and love in front of the cafeteria was built by art students in the spring of 2006.
Giants, now that we're all back in school together, the leadership class will be hosting some lunchtime events, so stay tuned for more information about that in the near future. Also, Homecoming Week will be on May 3rd through 7th, and Homecoming nominations will be held on April 27th.
Now it's time for the Art Spotlight. Today we'll be learning a little bit more about ceramics from Ari.
My name is Ari Kasarukov and I'm in the 12th grade. I did not take art originally as a freshman. I instead signed up for ceramics for my first time as a senior. And so far it's been a really cool journey. The first semester went by really well. We were able to take clay home and sculpt it at home with tutorials with our teacher on Zoom. With our hybrid model, I've had a couple days a week where I've been able to work on the wheel. I've really enjoyed working on it, and my teacher, Mr. Butler, really has shown us how the whole process works. So recently we've been working on glazing the projects we've made on the wheel. Most recently I glazed a bowl I created on the wheel, and that was a really fun thing to do, dipping the art piece into the giant bucket of glaze and taking it out and seeing how it looks after was really fun. So working on the wheel involves getting a decently sized lump of clay, and you want to wet the wheel with a sponge, get some water on, and the hardest part for me at first was just getting the clay attached to the wheel. And once you've got the clay attached to the wheel, you also have to center it by pushing it around with your hands and sort of getting it aligned. And after you've done that process, you can begin creating whatever art you want on the wheel. So far with our simple like cup designs or bowls, we've just been creating like a little indent in the mound of clay in the wheel and then sort of growing it out with our hands and smoothing out the edges. Once you've finished your art, you need to use a tool. It's sort of like a long wire, and slice off the bottom of your art piece from the wheel, and then you let it dry it out. You can fire it and then glaze it. I definitely think it's important to try new things, and taking ceramics was a new branch of art for me, and I've really enjoyed it so far. At home, I've done art on different mediums, like mainly drawing and painting, but I've done very little ceramics before, and I've really enjoyed so far working with clay and the different creativity that brings with it. So Mr. Butler puts an emphasis on connecting different types of art together with ceramics, because it's all involves just making your brain flow with different ideas for art. For example, we'll draw out different designs on paper of how we want our final ceramics project to look, and if we want to make any engravings, we can also show that on our design on paper, and then we can transfer that into our ceramics project. Definitely is a rewarding aspect to ceramics. It's definitely a different form of art for me rather than drawing on paper. You get to see sort of your art come to life, and from a very simple and unrefined project, you can create a really intricate design.
Thanks, guys. That looked great.
If you're interested in running for ASB office or student board representative, the applications will be due on this date. There will also be a campaign meeting on this date. The campaign week will stretch from May 10th to May 13th, and winners will be announced on this date.
Also, if you're interested in running for class officer or applying for site council, the applications are now open for next year. The applications will be due on this date. There's going to be a mandatory meeting on this date. And the campaign week will be on May 17th to May 20th. Winners will also be held on this date. Now let's move on to cooking with Kira.
Hey Redwood, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Kira. Today we are going to be cooking one of my most favorite meals, salmon pasta. One of my best friends taught me how to make it, and now every time she's like, yeah, I'm making this for dinner, I'm like, bet, I'm over there. So I'm going to be teaching you guys because it's such an easy, simple, and healthy meal. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off by boiling water. We're going to just fill your pan halfway. Make sure it's a decent sized pan to fill up how much pasta you want. This is the amount of pasta we're doing. We're using the tricolor rotini, and we're gonna put it on the burner on high, medium to high, and then make sure it boils. And then once it's boiling, we're gonna put the pasta in and set it for 7 minutes. When that timer hits 5 minutes left, we are gonna start our next step. Okay, so our next step, we have sun-dried tomatoes, artichoke hearts, and then we have capers. You can put as much as you want in the skillet. I just put olive oil in the skillet. So I'm just gonna put, this is for 2 people, so I'm just gonna put a little bit extra. All right, next we have our salmon, and we're gonna cut it up into small pieces, and then we're gonna also add it into the pan with all of the rest of our goodies. Now after we've strained our pasta because it finished cooking, we're just gonna pour it in with the rest of our ingredients. Once you've combined everything, mix it all up and let it sit on low for 1 minute. Alrighty, this is what your final product's gonna look like. It tastes absolutely amazing. Again, one of my most favorite dishes. Alrighty, Giants, thank you so much for tuning in to this week of Cooking with Kira. I will catch you guys next time. Bye, Giants.
Thanks, Kira. Looks appetizing. We have some more career conversations coming up for you this week, so check them out if you're interested.
Giants, if you're interested in getting more involved at Redwood, you can apply for the leadership class. There is no prior academic requirement or experience necessary to apply. You can go to the Redwood homepage and click on leadership and fill out the application by May 13th.
Now it's time for the environmental spotlight. Let's check it out.
Oh, hey Redwood! I'm swinging into the jungle to tell you about some breaking news in Novato. The Novato City Council has approved a new 14-pump or 28-car gas station at the Costco in Novato. The city approved the gas station because they are currently in a $2.5 million deficit. Costco produces a lot of taxes for the city. In fact, Costco is one of the top 10 tax producers in Novato. Costco representative John Babcock said that he's still interested in having gas around, and that when demand changes, Costco will pivot and build more electric chargers if there's more demand for electric vehicles. Some people say that this decision by the Novato City Council flies in the face of the climate emergency resolution that they passed just last year. Others want them to follow in the footsteps of Petaluma, who's already banned the creation of new gas stations. On a more hopeful note, Joe Biden wants to turn the entire federal fleet of vehicles electric. That's approximately 645,000 vehicles. And he wants every single electric vehicle made to be made with 50% American-made parts. This is a big step because federal vehicles drive 4.5 billion miles each year. They use 400 million gallons of gasoline, and they emit 7 billion tons of greenhouse gases. There will be no new gas-powered cars sold in California by 2035. Transportation makes up over 50% of California's emissions.
Thanks, Green Man. It's always good to learn about our local environment.
The food drive is continuing, so if you can, bring in some food.
That's all for today, Giants. And remember, I'm Aiko.
And I'm Jack. And remember, if you can't put trash in a trash can, that makes it a trash can't.